Hello, everyone. What if I told you that there's a Stonehenge that is older than us, than Stonehenge here in the UK, and it is left resting beneath a cold, murky Lake Michigan? Welcome, everyone, to Secrets of the Stars, episode 53, and this is the 9,000-year-old Enigma at the bottom of the lake. So let's grab your oxygen tanks, your flashlights, and let's go diving into this fascinating episode, shall we? So basically, if you don't know what I'm on about, back in 2007, Dr. Mark Holly, a professor of underwater archaeology, was basically scanning Grand Traverse Bay and like the floor of Grand Traverse Bay in Lake Michigan, and he was just looking for shipwrecks and everything for like basically to see what he could study. And his sonar technology that he was with, like what he was had with him, basically went off and it captured tank. So first things first, he thought, oh, let's check if it was a bolt. Come back, there wasn't a bolt. So he was like, okay, so what is it then if it's not a bolt? So I carried on looking, and he found out it was a mile long line of stones. And I'll show you a picture in a minute of what these stones look like. But they were laid out in eerie precision, like Stonehenge here in the UK, like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, and that. And basically, there was a deliberate carving on one of the stones that resembled a mastodon, and basically that pinpoints this site as at least 9,000 years old because mastodons, if you don't know, roam the Grand Lakes regions like about that time and that in the thing. So it's kind of fascinating how Lake Michigan has preserved this. So I'm going to show you now a picture of the Lake Michigan structure now, so you know what I'm on about. Um, Open image, and like I said, if you're enjoying this, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends, family, and all that. But yeah, this is the structure that has been found at the bottom of Stonehenge and is still there to this day, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. How it's been preserved and that, like even to this day, like that, how it's been preserved and cared for and all that. So basically, like there are people that Dr. Mark Holly's kind of led a research team and that on our what to recover from it and see what kind of history this structure has. So basically, back in the Ice Age era, Lake Michigan doesn't look like it does now, which is kind of easy to think about because if it looked like it did now, basically we wouldn't have a thing of like with Michigan being as it is and all that. So basically, much of the underwater parts of Lake Michigan was dry land back in the day. There's forests around, marshes, even hills where people were working and living, and animals were roaming and everything. So experts have worked out, and the team with Dr. Mark Holly has also worked out that this structure and these stones were basically placed when the lake was much shallower. So basically, that means that Lake Michigan might not have been a lake at all. What if it was like basically land, and over time something's happened and it's become a lake? So why would they be arranging these stones in a certain area? Because if you look at the image, It seems very specific layout if you think about it. I'll try and show you another image now. Lake Michigan Stonehenge. Here we go. Look, hang on. There you go. Isn't that kind of fascinating now that these stones are placed and like presented? So what was this structure used for then, everyone? I'll let you have a little think on it. So basically, going back to there's this Mastodon carving, and it's been extinct for millennia, obviously. But it confirms extreme age, basically. But then it also tells us that these people that were like around at the time love to record what they saw, basically like we do today, like journalists would do in their field, and media people like in their field, like media production crews doing their field when they record stuff. Back in the day, though, remember this Mastodon carbon, it shows that the earlier people were like, telling us, oh, there's people here that that would love to make and see what they saw. So could this like structure be like a totem? Like with totem poles? Could it be a warning site? Could it be like ceremonial stones? Could it be like a calendar? What exactly the Lake Michigan was this part of Lake Michigan used for back in the day? Or was there something particular about the site that kind of makes it go and scream at you? This is basically a site that of important interest. So basically, these stones are in a. I'll try and get you another picture up now. These stones, but they're in a very. Basically, they're in a line. They're in a mile-long line, which is really crazy. There you go. Look at that. I mean, look, that looks like a bridge. But yeah, what the hell is going on with these stones, everyone? I'd like to know what you think. So, like I said, they're arranged in a deliberate line. Some believe that they mirror caribou drive lanes. So basically, like ancient structures that basically when you had earth animals and that these were like ancient structures that basically caught these animals in traps, hunting traps. But other people think that it goes beyond that, and these stones have celestial alignment, like to the stars and planets and certain things. So was it used to track solstices, stars, the movement of stars, moon phases like Stonehenge? Or is this structure more of another like thing where they look and they're in the stars and go, this is aligned to a planet up there. This is aligned to a pinpoint like coordinate. We don't know. So if you think about it, 9,000 years old, this structure here predates the pyramids, Stonehenge itself, as I was on about, Mesopotamian structures, and that. So, who built it? Who had the knowledge to build something like this? And that, because they had no metal tools at the time, but there was hunters around at the time. Artists, more than likely, were a thing back in the day. Even astronomers were probably a thing back in the day. So was there indigenous tribe people around the Great Lakes? Maybe. Ancestors to modern day tribes that we see today, and then these tribes who say in their texts and read and their stories say that there was giants, earth changers, flooded lands like Lake Michigan, and that's how Lake Michigan has now come to be. So was this all like dry pieces of land, and they've become like flooded, and it's become flooded, and now it's this? You know what you think, everyone, and also make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. So, why haven't we heard more about this site until recently? Wow, there's a thing that kind of happened. Basically, after Dr. Ollie found some bits out about the site, he was discouraged from further pursuing it in more detail to try and get the answers, because some universities didn't want to touch it because of political attention at the time between archaeological preservation and indigenous sovereignty. So basically, they didn't want to like step on the tribe's shoes and basically and say we want to touch it, and then it's a messy situation basically. But again, it's like that everywhere you go. So, did they really want to do it like that, or was it because it contradicts the accepted timeline that people have that happened in Northern America, not in North America at the time? Like this changes the way that North America is viewed, and that. So going back to things that you might find interesting, that structure also reminds me of certain structures that are still seen today in the world. There's the Yanagani Monument in Japan. That is a famous monument. If you want to go and research, I'd recommend it. That is a there's near in the Cuban waters near the Yucatan Peninsula. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Sorry, everyone. There's a monument, which is crazy. The Baltic Sea has a monument, which is crazy. And I think there's also like a UFO thing around that area. And these structures defy explanation, like so many to this day. So, is it the thing that these structures were built, like I said, like celestial, like things for the stars, for mapping constellations, or pinpointing planetary alignments, or certain points of the like solar system, or whatever? Or was these like monuments for religious belief, or you know what I mean? Or was it just one in like this monument here was connected to that monument over there, and so forth and so forth? Because if you think about it, going back to one, you know, Giza, the Great Pyramid of Giza, is on the ley line that runs across the world, and on that ley line lies oh bloody hell, the inter in oh the in I'll tell you what it's called. In oh bloody hell. Um, Hello everyone who's just tuning in, by the way. Um, because the person who done oh bloody hell, that thing in California. Um, I'm trying to think of the trying to think what it's called. Hello, everyone who's just tuning in, by the way. I can't try and think of that dome structure that's in California. um, oh bloody hell! I did do a video on it, everyone. Hang on, if I say hang on, I'll quickly tell you if I can find the video. Hang on, what I'm on about, because it's kind of thing. Give me a minute, everyone. Um, there you go, Integratron. That's the thing. Sorry, everyone. I just had to look at my videos. Yeah, the Integratron is on the ley line that goes across the world, and the Pyramid of Giza's on it. And then, yeah. So is this structure like in Lake Michigan on a ley line that runs through an ancient places like Stonehenge, and that's why it's connected like that, or elsewhere? Or is there things that it's connected to that we don't even know about? Like I don't know. A facility in Denmark or something. I'm going to throw random places out for the hell of it. You know what I mean? So, but then this is where but this is where it gets crazy, because when the divers went down the water, the first time it was ever discovered, where from Dr. Dr. Ollie, the diving team said that they felt disorientation, time distortion, and that there was phantom sounds underneath the surface. But then paranormal people and researchers have said that it could be because there's unusual amounts of electromagnetic energy in that spot. And of course, electromagnetic energy, can come from a ley line. So is it, like I said, a ley line of ancient ley line, which goes elsewhere? I'll have to look for this ley line thing. Or is there a ley line that goes through it, that goes to a place which is currently found? Like I said, like Stonehenge, or the Nazca lines in Peru, that kind of thing. Because it is crazy how there's a huge amount of electromagnetic energy being reported there. So, and time distortion, phantom sounds, and even disorientation happening around there. So, but yeah. So let's see so could this change everything that we know about things today? So if it so we're confirmed, we know it's 9,000 years old, and we know there's a carved mastodon that has been photographed, and that some have disputed its clarity. The sonar imagery exists because Dr. Ollie presented it himself in university, but the stone arrangements basically are open to interpretation, even though they're confirmed. Is it caribou lines or star maps or something completely different? But we do not know yet if it's a definitive proof of ritual or astronomical use, or there was civilization there and they use it for religious purposes or whatever. But what we do know is the site exists, it's ancient, and it's giving us more questions than answers to this day. And I hope one day we can get the answers to this site, so we know what's going to happen. Because these sites will give us the answers. I believe that these sites need to be unlocked. It's like a key. It's like a key for me. Because when you open the door, you put a key in, don't you? And it unlocks. I believe these sites are keys, and we got to open them for a certain lock of the, which is the door, which is Earth, for it to be discovered what they all do. So maybe, so what we know for a minute is what's buried beneath Lake Michigan is one of the greatest secrets known to mankind at the minute. So maybe a footprint of forgotten land, people, purpose. We won't know yet for another few, like 20 years or 30 years, because if they don't know that, if they don't want people researching it, then we won't ever get the answers we want. But thank you ever so much for watching. If this has left you questioning your sanity, please hit that, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends. Make sure you check out my live tab and my playlist so you can watch all my other videos. But also drop a comment with your theory in the underneath and let me know what you think on what's going on here. And also turn the notification bell on because you don't want to miss anything on here. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.